There's a very simple practice that can change your financial life in just 60 seconds. And it's not a joke. People who applied this technique started receiving money from unexpected places, paid off debts, and even got better job opportunities, all in less than 24 hours. This practice combines an ancient Buddhist teaching with a secret that Bob Proctor only shared with his closest students. Buddhist monks have always said that everything begins within the mind. And Bob Proctor also used to say, you attract what you feel, not just what you want. When these two ideas come together, something powerful happens. What you're about to learn today is so simple that it seems like it wouldn't work. But it does, if you do it the right way. It's a technique that only takes 1 minute. It doesn't require money, and you don't need to talk to anyone. In fact, it's very important that you don't tell anyone. The secrecy is part of the process. Imagine your mind as a garden. What you think and feel are seeds. If you plant with intention, things grow. If you do it with the right words, in the right way, in silence, the universe responds. And that's exactly what you're going to learn now. If you believe it's possible to change your reality through your mind, comment below. I choose abundance. And if this message resonates with you, leave a like to help this content reach more people. Bob Proctor dedicated over 50 years to the study of the human mind, energy, and wealth creation. He believed that everything we experience is a direct result of what we think, and even more so, what we repeatedly feel. But what few people know is that behind the scenes, Bob also studied Eastern practices such as Tibetan Buddhism to understand how the field of the mind and energy really works. While in the West, we look for formulas and effort, Buddhist masters have always looked inward. For them, wealth doesn't begin in the pocket. It begins in consciousness. And it was this perspective that inspired Bob to develop manifestation practices that work not just through positive thinking, but through something much more subtle, a person's vibrational state. What he discovered, and taught in smaller circles, is that there is a way to activate this state of abundance almost instantly. And for it to work, 3 rules must be followed. Feel deeply what you desire, as if it already exists. Stay silent about what you're doing. Repeat the process for a few seconds every day. This technique isn't found in any book, course, or public lecture. It was kept within closed study groups and went unnoticed for years, until some people began applying it in a simple way and documented incredible results, financial changes within hours. That's why what you're about to see is exclusive, not because it's complicated or secret, but because it requires a rare kind of attention. You need to be truly present. Don't try to understand everything with your logical mind. This technique communicates with a different kind of intelligence, the intelligence of feeling. This technique is not meant to be shared, and that's not just a detail. It's an essential part of making it work. The moment you tell someone, discuss it, give your opinion, or try to convince someone else, you break the energy field that you started to create. So remember this well. The secret here is not just in what you do, but in what you choose not to do. This silence has a purpose. In Buddhism, there is a concept called silent energy. It says that what is sacred must be nurtured in silence until it blooms. That's why monks keep vows of silence for long periods, to preserve the energy of what is being created within them. Bob Proctor understood this too. He said the subconscious is shaped by repetition and emotion, and that the field around us responds to what we emit, not to what we explain. In other words, you don't need to convince anyone. You just need to align with what you want. And that's exactly why you need to follow these 3 instructions carefully. Do the technique exactly as it will be taught, without changing anything. Don't talk about it with anyone, not out of curiosity, not to test it. Feel as if you're already living the change. Remember, abundance isn't coming from the outside. It's being activated within you. The quieter this process is, the stronger the response will be. It's like planting a rare seed. You don't dig it up the next day to check if it's growing. You trust the invisible process. If you made it this far, comment, "I trust the invisible." This reinforces your commitment and activates your mind for the next step. Take a deep breath for a moment. Think about your financial life as it is today, not with judgment, not with urgency. Just observe. How many times have you felt anxious because of money? How many sleepless nights? How many forced decisions? How many desires swallowed out of fear of not having enough? That anxiety isn't just yours. It's part of a program that's been placed in all of us. We were taught that money is hard, that it requires struggle, that it only comes with effort or luck. But no one taught us how to align the mind with the energy of abundance, which in truth is our natural state. In Buddhism, there's a concept called conscious intention. It says that everything begins on the mental plane, but materializes when there is coherence between thought, feeling, and action. Bob Proctor translated this simply: when you believe and feel something as truth, the universe begins to rearrange everything to deliver it to you. That's why, before learning the technique, you need to prepare the ground. There's no use applying a method if your mind is still full of fear, doubt, or haste. You need to create inner space, a kind of confident silence, as if you already know you're on the path to change, even without any external proof yet. This preparation is emotional, not theoretical. It's not about understanding. It's about feeling that you deserve to prosper, even if there are still debts, even if you've never seen this work before. The energy only begins to flow when you step out of resistance and into acceptance. So now, just say to yourself, quietly if you can, "I am ready to receive." and feel the weight of that, as if it were true right now, because in practice it already is. Everything in the universe is energy, and money is too. It might sound strange to think about it this way, but it's a truth repeated by both quantum physics and spiritual masters. What changes between a prosperous person and a person in scarcity isn't just the bank account. It's the vibrational frequency each one is operating on. Bob Proctor used to say the mind works like a transmitter. It sends signals through thoughts and receives responses in the form of experiences. In Buddhism, the idea is similar. What you bless blossoms. In other words, what you appreciate, value, and care for with intention grows. What you ignore, complain about, or fear moves away. That's why the practice of blessing is so powerful. When you bless something, even if you don't have it yet, you're saying to the universe, "This is already mine in essence, and I honor it." And that vibration of recognition opens paths that logic can't predict. Let's take a simple example. Imagine two people. The first one wakes up every day, complains about bills, feels angry about work, and speaks badly about people with money. The second, even with little, gives thanks, blesses every coin that comes in, and wishes prosperity to others. Which of these two is cultivating an energy of abundance? That's the point. Abundance begins before the money arrives. It starts in how you look at life, how you position yourself in front of what you have or don't have yet. That's why the first step of the technique you'll learn is to bless. Bless what you already have. Bless what you want, and even bless other people's money, because what you wish for others comes back to you. The practice is simple, but it requires presence. And from this point on, everything begins to shift. Imagine two plants. Both were planted on the same day, in the same soil and light. But one is watered daily with kind words. "You're going to grow strong. You are beautiful. Thank you for being here." The other hears complaints. "You're never going to make it. You're weak. This is never going to work." In just a few weeks, even with the same resources, the results are different. The first grows, blooms, reaches toward the light. The second weakens, wilts, gets stuck. Now replace those plants with yourself, or, more specifically, with your financial life. How many times have you said, even without noticing, that there's never enough money? Things are hard. I'm tired of this. Those words are dirty water poured every day into your mental garden. And what the technique you'll learn does is precisely the opposite. It cleans, nourishes, and strengthens that energy with blessings, with intention, and with positive inner imagery. Visualization isn't just imagining, it's feeling as if it were real. So now, I'm going to guide you through a brief mental image. Close your eyes for a second and picture this in your mind. You open your banking app on your phone and see an unexpected amount of money. Feel the surprise, see the number, hear the sound of the notification, see the message from someone saying, "The amount has been successfully transferred." See yourself smiling, breathing with relief, already thinking about how wisely you'll use that money. Now picture your home feeling more comfortable, your bills organized, your peace returning, and deep down, a quiet certainty. This is just the beginning. These images are seeds, and the more you water them with feeling, the faster they grow. Now comes the most important moment, and maybe the most delicate too, because what you're about to learn now isn't just a technique, it's a breakthrough, a break from everything you've learned about money, effort, and worthiness. And that's exactly why you need to be 100% present here. If you're doing something else, come back later. This practice only works when your attention is fully present. Let's begin. This technique takes just 60 seconds. But in those 60 seconds, you're going to do something most people don't do in their entire lives. Align with what you want. Feel as if it's already real, and release control. And all this without effort, without any complicated rituals, without needing to tell anyone. We'll break this down into 4 simple parts. And in each one, your only role is this. Feel deeply. Step 1, clear intention, 15 seconds. Close your eyes. Now, imagine a specific amount of money you want to receive. Don't say, "I want money." That's generic, vague, and confusing to the mind. The mind needs clarity to create. Choose an exact amount. It could be $100, $240, $2,000. Something that would bring relief and an immediate sense of freedom. Now, see that amount on your phone screen, as if it had just been deposited into your account. See the number, see the cents, feel the surprise. You smile, you breathe with relief. You already think, "This covers my week." As you feel this, mentally repeat, "I receive this amount with joy, security, and gratitude." This phrase activates 3 psychological triggers. Joy. Your mind associates the amount with something positive. Security. Your nervous system relaxes and allows the flow. Gratitude. You send a signal to the brain that this has already happened. Your body starts responding as if it were true, and that's when the magic begins. Step 2. Prosperity blessing, 20 seconds. Now, think of 3 people or companies who have a lot of money. Yes, that's right. Maybe it brings a bit of discomfort, and that's great, because here lies an invisible block. What you reject in others, you push away from yourself. So look at these people in your mind and say, I bless this prosperity. I'm grateful it exists. This phrase isn't about them. It's about you. When you bless someone else's wealth, you deactivate triggers of comparison, envy, and guilt. And then your mental system begins to say, if they have it, I can too, and that's okay. This frees up space. It creates an energetic bridge between you and what you want. In Buddhism, this is called shared merit. In psychology, we call it emotional reframing with a focus on expansion. In simple terms, you stop sabotaging yourself. Step 3. Creative silence. 15 seconds. Now, be silent. Completely. Don't wish, don't think, don't ask. Just feel. Imagine that this feeling of relief is already in your body. You are calm, at peace, in silence. This silence is like the soil that welcomes the seed. You don't dig it, you don't force it, you just allow it. Psychologically, this moment directly affects the autonomic nervous system, activating a state of deep relaxation where brain waves slow down and the subconscious absorbs more easily. This is where everything begins to happen. Step 4. Final confirmation. 10 seconds. Now slowly open your eyes and say, quietly or mentally, it is done. I trust. This phrase seals the process. It takes you out of waiting for it to happen mode and puts you in it already is mode. The brain doesn't distinguish between real and intensely felt. And when you say it is done with conviction, it starts acting as if it were true. You change your posture, your decisions, your mental filters, and what happens then? You start noticing opportunities that used to go unnoticed. You attract synchronicities, and what once seemed impossible, find a way. Important. Do this practice once a day. Don't tell anyone. Don't force results. Just feel and live your life. This technique works because it acts where most people overlook, in the space between thought and feeling. That is the space of creation. If you felt the energy shift, comment, it is done. I receive. And if this content is helping you, leave a like. It helps this knowledge reach the people who really need it. If you've made it this far, something inside you has already begun to change. It may seem subtle, a gentle calm, a sense of now it's happening, but that's the first sign your frequency has started to shift. What you've learned today isn't just a technique, it's a turning point, because you finally understood that you don't need to wait for something external to happen in order to feel different. In fact, it's the exact opposite. When you change on the inside, the world changes on the outside. And this isn't just a nice saying, it's neuroscience, spirituality, and energy all working together. Bob Proctor used to say that the subconscious is the only place where real change happens. And Buddhism has always taught that the reality we see is a reflection of the reality we cultivate within. The 60-second technique is just the beginning. You don't need to do it for hours or complicate it. The secret is in daily repetition, surrender, and above all, in the silence. From now on, you have a choice. Go back to your old routine, believing things only change when the world changes. Or apply this every day with ease, trust, and presence, knowing that change begins with you. Remember, you are planting an invisible seed. It grows in the dark, and one day when you least expect it, it blooms. So if you felt truth in this process, comment below. I plant abundance every day. And if this video helped you, leave a like. It shows me this content should continue. Oh, and if you start seeing signs, an unexpected flow of money, a new opportunity, a fresh sense of security, come back here and share it in the comments. Your story might be the next trigger of transformation for someone who's still unsure. It is done, you trust. Now the universe takes care of the rest.